Yeah, they can be pretty spectacular, our glaciers. The interesting thing about them is that we talked about how this is a very specific ecosystem. So the animals that live here have very specific needs, and as those needs change, that can put the survival of that, at least those individual animals, but potentially the species at risk. And so if you add in another factor, one more thing, it can make the kind of a domino effect. It can be an unrecoverable event. So if we were to get something like an oil spill, that could happen, similar to the one we had 25 years ago with Exxon Valdez that brought oil into this area. You add that extra event, plus you have the change of climate, you will see this kind of almost unrecoverable moment. So oil in the water is one of the worst things for these animals because they rely on air to keep them warm, which seems kind of oxymoronic because our air is so cold. How can it keep them warm? But otters and birds will use their feathers and fur to trap air inside as insulation. And if you cover that with an oil that then mats the fur or the feathers down, the cold water now is immediately against their skin and not protected by that buffer of air. And so when you add that kind of short-term disaster, which animals will recover from, given an abundant population. But if you have a stressed population already from climate change, when you add that short-term disaster in, then you have a breeding population that's so low that they can't come back from it. Right. And there are estimates of 200,000 or more birds in the Exxon Valdez oil spill area that were wiped out. Luckily for those species, they were a really abundant species, a common murre, so they're coming back pretty well. But other species like the Kittlitz murrelet may not be able to survive that as they lose their regular habitat anyway.